All right, I thought we was running in. We will have to book an emergency race for Europe show if we win this. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Or if we do it Monday, I tell you what. I don't care what happens on the weekend. I'm talking about it if we win. What Sam needs to do is if we win this, he needs to just not just clip you up, but clip everyone up in the chat. Screenshot that with the and go in where they're like 3-0s, 3-1s, all of this.
Well, this is going to be fun, isn't it? I am going with what I went with last night on this channel, which is West Ham 1, Arsenal 1, Arsenal to win on penalties. West Ham 3, pathetic Arsenal 1, pathetic Mikel Arteta, and Arsenal 1. That team was disgusting. I dare you, anybody in this chat or in the comments, to talk to me about Kai Havertz being a good player. Oh, did you see that pass? Did you see that pass? He's headed the ball. He's chested it. He's passed it forwards. Oh, this guy is an absolute upgrade. Get him out. The guy sucks. Oh, Kai Havertz scored again. Kai Havertz again. That's what the song should be.
20 odds out. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah! Take the Ireland board out, damn! Get it out! A goal! Oh my word! What a finish!
Almiron and Joe Linton.
Now, Dan.
Both scored.
Hold them, Dan. Hold them. What a goal!
Oh, contenders! There we go, Sam with another. He had to stick that dig in at the end, but it is pathetic Arsenal, pathetic Arteta, and we have pathetic Potts, who has to hold 2 L's in a row as Arsenal lost to West Ham, then Newcastle. It is beautiful. We're talking Carabao Cup. We're not letting the Carabao Cup slide because there's been a Premier League game in between. I said it. We're not having it. So, you know, we're going to be talking about Arsenal and the downfall in the last 2 games. We're going to be talking about, obviously, Newcastle. The controversy. Did they steal another one? Were Arsenal robbed? Liverpool, when Errol turns up, I should say, he's going to have to answer for his attack. Billy is getting brought back down to reality. I'm fuming. I'm fuming over this guy because he's just deluded with a capital D. No one talks about him. They've just lost the Forest, and it's time he comes back down to earth. So we're going to get straight into it.
Lawless,
We're not talking about West Ham.
Do you not think he put a disclaimer in last week, though, saying there's no easy game in the Premier League? Do you think he was putting that
Errol
disclaimer?
can back that up.
Does it all the time. He's tactical. It's tactical. That's what he does. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, we'll touch on a bit of West Ham. Listen, I'm not, West Ham. We'll talk about a bit of West Ham. Obviously, we did play Arsenal, so we feed into that anyway. But, Dan Potts, he's going to have to, mate, you're going to have to talk to us about this, right? We could do chronologically or we can work our way backwards. However you want to start it, my friend, because I think you've had a bit of a wake-up call here. And I know you can sit here and do your I've always called it out. I've always called it out. Come on, mate. The wheels are falling off a little bit here. Talk to me. How you feeling? Birthday weekend. Happy birthday, by the way. Got some birthday beats for your team. How was it? Talk to us, mate.
Yeah, I've had better birthdays, bro. I've had better birthdays. First of all, big up to Newcastle and everybody up there who made me feel welcome. Big up to all the guys who watched the show. Big up to everybody I met who bought me a drink and said they love the show and support everybody on the show. So big up to all of you guys. Big up Saeed, by the way. He was said to me earlier on his show, oh, this will be fun. Lawless is hosting. He's going to cook you tonight.
Take over.
What am I thinking? Let me start with Newcastle, then we'll go back to West Ham, right? Because that's the one that's fresh in my mind. I was on Saeed's channel earlier and I was talking about this, and I'm actually losing it with Arsenal fan base at the moment a bit yet again, because unfortunately, Arteta can do no wrong. It's always somebody else's fault. Whether it's VAR, whether it's the Cronkies, whether it's Edu, whether it's us fans, whether it's the board who haven't supported us, whatever it be, it's always something else. And at the weekend, it was VAR. VAR didn't lose us 3 points. VAR wasn't the reason that we didn't beat Newcastle. VAR is a disgrace, yes, but actually, stop relying on VAR to get you points because it ain't going to happen. VAR is not going to get us any points. Man United, Arsenal, West Ham, Villa, Newcastle, all represented on this panel list. If any of us ever go into a game expecting VAR to sort you out, forget it. So you have to make sure you don't have to rely on it now. And Arsenal Football Club did not do that against Newcastle on Saturday night. I thought the team that we put out was very well expected. And it was one that I'd kind of half predicted that we would do. But we had injuries. We had Erdegaard out. We had Partey out. We had Jesus out. Newcastle had the whole of their spine depleted. No Botman, no Tonali, no Isak, no Harvey Barnes. Even Elliot Anderson, and I don't know how to say his name. I think it's McKelly. They've been good for them when they've come. They're up-and-coming youngsters. They're both out injured. So injuries isn't an excuse. We had one shot on target, boys. One shot on target against Newcastle. Now, granted, Newcastle didn't pepper our goal. In fact, they didn't touch it until the 60th minute. But the point is, we had absolutely no answer. And
did they go defensive at home, Potts? Because there was a lot of talk, right? I've seen this about Newcastle's approach to the game as the home side and approaching this game defensively, sitting back against Arsenal at home, which, according to Newcastle fans, it's a disgrace if you do that. What was your perspective of that, Potts?
I knew they wouldn't come and play. I like the way what you're trying to do there, Lawless. But I didn't come into that game expecting Newcastle to go all out attack us. If I'm honest, I expected there to be more goals in the game. I think my prediction was 1-1 or 2-2. I can't remember what I'd gone for now, but I'd gone for a draw. I didn't expect us to beat them, but also what I did was expected to actually put a performance out there. And I've seen two shambles of performances now, and I tell you where Arsenal were going wrong. Their midfield. We bought Declan Rice for 105 million and stuck two Chelsea rejects next to him and wonder why we're going nowhere quickly. Jorginho was slow again. Kai Havertz, everyone said, worked hard and he was tenacious and he battled. I thought he was average at best again. I've not seen anything this guy does moving forward with the ball. I've seen some nice sprays of passes, but like I said on that clip, everybody seems to think that's why we bought this guy. £65 million. For that money, we could have got Moussa Diaby, Kudus, Soboslai, Maddison, even Alexis McAllister, who I know has been playing deeper for Liverpool, but I would have rather had him. We have wasted a load of money and sprayed it up the wall, man, basically. This guy is clueless. He's not good enough, and I don't rate him. And he was lucky to be on the pitch. You know, okay, I think maybe it is an orange or between a yellow and a red, if you want to go down that line. He connects differently there, and he's off, man. Like, it was poor. The referee had a disaster again, didn't he, for both teams? I don't think he was great for either. I thought Newcastle got harshly done by. I thought Arsenal got harshly done by. It was poor refereeing yet again. But I'm not blaming VAR here. If you want my honest opinion about the free, I thought the ball was out. Some people are saying the ball's not out. We can talk about Rashford's against Brighton if you want and that being given. That's cool. But that one's not conclusive. That one's not conclusive. So, okay, we'll go to the next one. Offside. The rule book states that, I was speaking to judges about this last night, that should have been offside. It wasn't given. It wasn't given because of the lines or that camera angle aren't right to be putting up there or something. Okay, what's the next one? The next one's a foul. And I looked at it and thought, maybe could Gabriel be stronger? The guy's got two hands straight on his back and he's pushing him over. I mean, I don't see how that's not a foul, if I'm honest. I don't know what he's doing. And the only other one I would say he got wrong was the Bruno Guimaraes one, unless it's okay to go around elbowing people in the head for no reason. Then, and he was lucky to be on the pitch, really, that Bruno guy. If he played for Arsenal, like judges said, he'd be off every weekend because that's what you get. Arsenal, you're highlighted when you're on that spotlight all the time. He's known as like Granit Xhaka, every game was off. That Bruno Guimaraes guy, man, I tell you, man, I've seen him a few times now, and I'll rate him as a footballer, but wow, that guy, Jesus, he goes in, doesn't he? That's for sure. So, yeah, I'm disappointed with the performance. And Mikel Arteta, I'm sorry. People think I say this because I'm still not convinced by the guy. You can't go over the top like that for those decisions. Some of them I would say were bad, but actually that wasn't the reason we lost the game. So let's go into the performance and talk about that. That's fine. We can talk about the performance, but don't blame VAR for the reason we lost the game. That's my honest opinion. And I'll talk about West Ham game in a bit when you want me to. But for me, that Newcastle performance was a shambles. Fair play to Eddie Howe. I thought he set up really well. I thought he nullified Saka and Martinelli. I don't think he gave them a sniff. Apparently Eddie Nketiah played, but I didn't see him the whole game. And we had no creativity without Ødegaard. It was a shambles. And unfortunately, mate, we move on to the next game after 2 L's. And Mikel Arteta's under pressure yet again because I blame him for both of them. So that's the way I'm at.
We'll finish this game, Potts, right? Because Pete needs to go on trial here. Pete needs to go on trial for a few things. And I want you to answer these questions tonight. I don't want to hear about your tactics and all of this stuff. What I want to hear about, or in this case, I want to hear about your defensive approach. But I want to hear the big talking points, Pete. You're on trial here. Because there were several moments, I've seen the Arsenal fan discourse. Should have been a red, should have had a sending off. That sounds familiar. Which I don't want to hear nothing about that from Potts or anyone else here because they weren't coming to my defense when we played Newcastle and they should have had a red. But yeah, so the red and then the goal, right, from Anthony Gordon. I want you stand here on trial. One, why did you approach the game so defensively at home when you told me that was a disgraceful thing to do? And two, did you rob Arsenal with those decisions? Take the stand.
Take the stand.
You're a clown. You are. For one, I'm not on trial, so I don't care what you say. Two, I'm absolutely buzzing that my boys got the 3 points at the weekend. I'm absolutely buzzing. For all the things that Pot said, depleted team, like I say, another mismatched team burns out for 3 months now, 2 months, whatever it is, got another injury on top of that. But those boys gave absolutely everything to get those 3 points, and that was what I was so pleased about. We outfought, we outbattled Arsenal from start to finish. You can talk about the incidents. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Havertz? For me, people are saying, it wasn't a red card. For me, it was a red card. You watch it again, his outstretched foot makes contact with Longstaff. Yeah, maybe not full contact. I'm glad it didn't, because if it did, we'd have another injury because we'd have a snap leg. It's as simple as that. 2 feet off the ground, not in control, reckless. It is a red card. People cannot put that and Bruno Guimaraes' incident together in the same instant because it's just not. It's not. And I agree.
What was Bruno doing though, Pete? Let's just explain that.
I have no idea.
Why was it not? Why would that not be a red card?
To be fair, it was in the intense phase of the game. So if we were pressing high at that point. We were pressing you really high.
Yeah, but no matter what phase of the game it's in, that was a red card. He's gone in.
He gone in to win the ball. He slid in and then he's ran in. You could argue.
And I like Bruno. I think he's a good player.
To be fair, you could argue it could have gone either way. It could have gone either way. I'm surprised, if anything, that he came away with nothing. That's what I'm surprised with. Is he didn't get anything. I thought it was definitely a yellow card. And to be fair, I agreed with Carragher's analysis after the game. I thought, it was a yellow card. That's my opinion. With regards to the goal, this will be quick and easy because I think everything's already been said. The ball has already been proved to be in. BN Sports proved it pretty quickly after the game with their technology that says it's exactly the same as VAR's. They've proven that it's in. So for me, that's a non-discussion. The ball into the box. Why are we not talking about how rubbish David Raya was and not getting anywhere near that?
Yeah,
standard cross that should have been caught. Why are we not talking about the fact? And actually, I hadn't seen it properly until I don't really watch Match of the Day, but I watch Match of the Day at the weekend. And there's one angle right from where the linesman is that shows right behind the ball. And if you watch that as it comes in, Gabriel is already down on the ground. Why is he doing that? I've got no idea. But his head is already down. And by the time that actually he makes contact with Joe Linton, actually makes contact with Gabriel, the ball is already at Joe Linton's chest. So it doesn't affect Gabriel getting the ball. in no way, shape, or form. If anyone hasn't seen that angle, watch it back because it's absolutely as clear as day. And I'd only seen that last night. Before then, I was umming and ahhing. Yeah, it could be a foul, could not be. But for me, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm questioning Gabriel, saying, what the hell are you doing right the way down there? A big strapping centre-back like that should be big and strong up in the air. And I tell you what, if he is, he wins the ball. We're not talking about a push. We're not talking about was it or wasn't it not. We're talking about Gabriel clearing the ball and potentially Newcastle not scoring in that moment. So for me, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm questioning that. Am I going to question it? Not a chance. If it was the other way around, would Arsenal question it? No, they wouldn't. So why would I question that situation? And I don't get why Newcastle fans are being made to be pointed the finger at for a decision that was being made by VAR. So I agree with you.
It's not your fans. I've not questioned your fans.
But that's the thing.
Because they bought you a fucking pint the other weekend, Potts. You'd never question them after they bought you.
No. Listen, it ain't even about that for me because the Newcastle fans are waiting like Arsenal fans are. We're waiting to know what's going on. All of us in the ground, and I was there, are looking at this thinking, what's actually happened here? Oh, the ball might have gone out. No? Okay. What's next? It's like, how can we get rid of this goal? Because it clearly shouldn't be one. That's what it looked like from everybody in the ground, the Arsenal fans and the Newcastle fans. For me, out of the three, the one I can go with, you can't tell if the ball's over or not. Pete's obviously said BN have confirmed that, but I haven't seen that being confirmed on any other platforms. So that one I'll give you. The other one, the offside one, that one they're saying they couldn't draw the lines and the angles weren't there, but it looks offside to a lot of people. And then the third one is the foul. That's the one I would say is fair play. If you've not got any lines to say they're offside or they're not offside, we can't see if it is 100%, right? But I'm asking, why is there not this technology? Why is this technology now been brought in when there's not an angle on all of the there's not an angle to put up in that angle? I mean, that's just crazy for me, right? But the foul, I don't really know what Joe Linton's doing there. I don't know. You might say Gabriel's gone down, but it's like saying, oh, he's falling over, so I'm going to boot him in the head so it's not a foul because he's falling over anyway. It's still a foul. Like, the guy's on him like that. Both of his hands are like that.
do that, though.
If you look at Joe Linton as the ball's coming in, I actually think that he's expecting Gabriel to be standing up because he's looking to try and get up to rise above him. He's a good centre-back. Like, he's good in the air. I think he's almost shocked that Gabriel is already down there. And I think the fact that he's already down there makes it kind of a little bit more awkward for Joe Linton. He can't get a great connection on it. And I think it throws it. And he puts his arms out because he's trying to rise above him. It turns out his head's already down there. So he's literally hands on the back of his neck. But at that point in which he does make contact, the ball's already made contact with it. So the ball's in there. So if I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, well, Gabriel's not getting the ball anyway because the ball's already gone past him. And his head was already down before Joe Linton's already pushed the ball. So for me, I don't think it's a foul. I don't think it is. The offside one for me is the one because they can't draw the line. So you don't really actually know what the situation is. But VAR made the right decision. If you cannot confirm that it's offside, you can't.
And that's why I'm giving that. That's why I'm giving the offside.
It's the same with the lines as well. If you can't see that it's 110% out of bounds and a goal kick, you can't give it. You have
it's
to
the clear and obvious thing that they
see. 100%. Just we didn't see it, so therefore you have to go with the referee's decision, which at the time he played on. And to be fair, the referee was probably the best placed out of everybody to be able to see because he was actually the closest to Joe Willock to be able to see whether it was out. But again, we're taken away from the fact that Joe Willock's determination to not give that up. Most players would have. He kept it in. It's a great ball into the box. Yes, should have been dealt with by Raya. Awful goalkeeping. And it was a really well taken goal. Fair play to Newcastle.
My thing is, it should never have been allowed to go into the box. Not because it was out, because our defense just stared and watched him.
Exactly.
So Ben White's just looking at Joe Willock. Maybe he knows him from old. He wanted to have a chat with him. It's embarrassing defending, and then Raya messes it up. But for me, it takes away again. We're talking about something that isn't the reason why Arsenal lost the game. We were poor, and I felt that majority of those players could not come off like Arteta said and said, we work so hard, we do so much, and this is what is the point of working so hard. That team didn't work hard. That team was not good enough on the day. And unfortunately, it wasn't good enough to beat the Newcastle side that has also got a depleted spine as well as Arsenal's depleted spine. So let's just say it how it is, man. Arsenal were poor. And if we play like that, We ain't winning no title,
Look,
man. I
look,
tell you.
Let me quickly go on Arteta because I think because obviously Potts is going to try and leave early before I get to cook him about the Carabao Cup. And
No,
I
I've
just
got
want to
time, bro.
I
Don't
want to
worry.
ask
Unfortunately
Errol
for you, I've got time.
but no, firstly, I want to ask Errol first, as he's come in, because this pertains kind of to Errol. Arteta's comments after the game. He's come out and he's complained big time and said, he's gone in, it's a disgrace. The PGMLO or whatever they're called, the refs, disgraceful. Now, a few weeks back, when you had that decision against Spurs, where your goal was ruled out, and he said, "Oh, their mistakes are made. We have to support the refs, and we can't blame them," and all of this stuff. His tune was different then than when it affected him. How did you view that from your perspective, and what do you think of Arteta?
Well, to be honest, it's like I did say on this show, it was going to happen to other teams, and only when it happens to them will they change their tunes, because it didn't affect them at that point in time, and it was easy to just say, "Oh well, mistakes can happen. It's Liverpool, blah blah blah." They can write it off and you can, brush it under the carpet. But ultimately, and I did try to explain this to a couple of you at the time, this wasn't a Liverpool and a Klopp thing. And I know a lot of people had an issue with, the way Klopp handles things. And I get that to some extent. He's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And the way that he articulates himself about certain issues will rub people up the wrong way. And that's okay. I am aware of that. But the overarching message that came from Klopp at the time was right. What he was trying to illustrate by the PGML, or whatever they're called, and the refs and VAR, he was trying to illustrate that the system, or the way that the system and the technology is being currently used, at the minute just doesn't seem fit for purpose. And as it stands, it will have a detrimental effect on all teams. So that's the only consistency. At some point, every single team this season will feel the injustice to the nth degree of VAR. Does that then mean everybody's had a fair rub of the green? Probably not, because like I said to you, and again, this the thing from my perspective is, you could sit here, and as a Liverpool fan, I can sit here and go back to when City win the league by 1 point and Rodri blatantly handballs it. I know, look at that, but this is the thing though, because again, this systemic issue wasn't nipped in the bud then. It's been able to creep into 2 other seasons where it's still affected teams. Who was the team that could have went down? Was it Chef that got sent down first time round?
For the goal line technology.
Goal line technology, they fucked them over. So all these things have been happening for multiple seasons now. It's just getting to a point where I feel that now it's happening to managers.
Got really quiet and just gone. Yeah, it was.
It was like,
I want the goal line one. Yeah, move on, the goal line one.
But this is for me. But it's got to a point now where, because it matters to Arsenal. Arsenal are trying to push for a title. These decisions going against them, it could cost them those points that will mean so much to them towards the back end of the season. So
the thing is, though, Errol, just let me quickly come in there, because I think they're 2 different things, right? And this is me as a gooner speaking. I think Jurgen Klopp is looking at that situation against Tottenham. I don't think it's anywhere near similar to the thing that happened on Saturday night.
No, it's not.
That's my honest opinion. Liverpool deserved to win that game, in my opinion, against Spurs, right? I don't think Arsenal
deserve to get a draw. We deserve to get a draw. If we
at least a draw, right? I mean, you nearly got one with 9 men. So, so for me,
so you're not calling for a replay, Potts? Is that what you're saying? No replay.
Yeah, but
Arteta probably is.
I think that was the bridge that went too far for football fans. I think Klopp being like, "Well, if it was up to me, replay." I think that's where football fans were like, "Whoa, that's crazy talk. We don't do that over here in England. We don't do that in the Premier League." But the overarching message before he got to that line was correct. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be investigated with these type of decisions. How can incorrect calls be known in live time that it was incorrect, but 30 seconds later, no one's got the cojones and the balls say, actually, we ballsed up there. We're going to take the play back.
Do you think there was a balls up? Do you think this on Saturday night, do you think it was a goal or not?
I thought it was a goal, Potts. Sorry. I did.
Oh, don't say sorry. It's your opinion.
No,
did anyone else think it was? Did anyone not think it was a goal?
Yeah, anyone
think it was a foul on Gabriel? Did anyone think it was off? Did anyone think it was offside?
The only reason sorry, let me just finish that. The only reason I think it all brings into that confusion is because it's almost like every single goal has to go through the VAR fine
ruins it.
margins check
Ruins it.
before,
Ruins
and
this shit.
that takes it away. Whereas if that would have just went, you'd have probably looked at that and been like, well, let me see that on the replay, and you could have talked about the talking points without it being a whole VAR thing. But because every single goal now that looks slightly contentious goes through VAR, there's always going to be a section of people that just feel as though, actually, no, there could have been another reason on another day to have not given that, and today they chose to give it. So there's the injustice, and I don't think that works for me, if I'm being honest.
You know what? I want to talk about Arsenal's title hopes, right? Because one thing I want to say, and this came up in the group chat, that when Potts is saying, oh, you know, we don't seem to be as good as last season, right? And what did I say at the start of the season that everyone was on my case?
West Ham going to finish 7th.
No, we're talking. This is Arsenal chat, Errol. We'll get to West Ham.
He's
We'll get to West Ham.
You say a lot of things, Lawless. You say a lot of things.
Say a lot of things. Of course I do. I've got a lot to say.
Sift through the waffle.
Errol, West Ham played once this week, apparently. They played once in a week, West Ham.
Right.
Well, listen, we'll get to there. Patience. But what I said, and all the Arsenal fans in the chat lost their mind. People on here disagreed with me. Potts definitely disagreed. I said that there's no way Arsenal will be as good as they were last season. Now, one of the reasons I gave was obviously the extra big competition that you're in the Champions League would take its toll. I also said teams are going to be setting up against Arsenal differently. They're going to respect you more on the pitch. Therefore, it's going to make it hard to get results. What you did some denying I said that? It's online.
I'm not denying you said it. I'm just saying that your points are not real. And I'll tell you why they're not true. Because the Champions League is not the reason why Arsenal are not going to get a title, because they haven't done anything. They've done nothing. It's done nothing so far to make me realise that Arsenal are going to be any more or less nearer to Man City. I think we're more further away for other reasons, but that's my opinion. And I also don't think that teams are setting up differently to Arsenal. I think Arsenal are setting up differently to teams, because Mikel Arteta has, for whatever reason, gone on this new defensive style of play, which is the reason as to why Saliba, who was a beast again on Saturday, and Rice, who was by far Arsenal's best player on Saturday, and Gabriel were always Arsenal's 3 best players. Because last season, this time, Lawless, it was look how good Jesus is. What a signing he's been from City. Look at Saka. Look at Martinelli. Look at Martin Ødegaard. Where have they all been this season? Is it them? Are they all crap now overnight? They're all overrated at a fluky season? Or are we now set up differently that we're trying to do this Diego Simeone way, which nobody wants, by the way? Everyone, oh, no, we don't want this. But the same Arsenal fans are saying this is the way we're going to be winning the league. Well, I'd rather play that style of play. I'd rather get somebody who can do it, like Ancelotti or Simeone, who's won stuff like playing that way. Because we're not in this attacking style. Let me tell you that, Lawless, when you made those comments, you did not think that Arsenal were going to set up in this style. You thought Arsenal were going to continue on from last year, like everyone else did, and play this attacking style of football, and it weren't going to still be enough because of the squad depth. Arsenal were not going to win the title because they're going to go in every game defensively and try and win 1-0. We're not going to see anything from your front men because they're going to play a different style. None of that was mentioned. Champions League was mentioned, and everybody else. There's 2 things that you're right about. Everybody around us is better because last season it was Arsenal and City. Everyone else had pretty much collapsed by this time. That's one thing that's right. And the other thing is, yeah, teams might be starting to play differently against Arsenal for this style of play, but not the old style of play because we ain't played it since last season.
Yeah, no, I said that, but I also said that level of performance as well wasn't sustainable. And I think maybe Arteta realized that, and he's obviously tried to deal with that, and it's not worked out. And I just basically looked at it and go, wow, like you were on fire. The level of performance, I just couldn't see you keeping that up. But yeah, obviously Pete's got a couple of points to make, and I just want to see what Billy and Dan have to say about your title chances quickly. Just a quick word on if you look at Arsenal differently as challengers. But what was your points, Pete? You wanted to
go to those boys first. I'll go after.
Oh yeah, just quickly. So yeah, Billy, Dan, one of you, just tell me, like, are you looking at Arsenal a little bit less in terms of title challengers? Do you think that's maybe going to hurt them? Do you think they're going to still challenge?
From my part, I said this just before we come on live. How in the world are Manchester United 6 points off Arsenal this season? You know, and you look at how different the seasons have been for both clubs, and we're looking at a situation where Manchester United, worst start to the season that we've ever had.
And we beat you as well, Dan. And we beat Man
us, and you've beat us. We're 6 points away from you. I think I've seen a lot of people in the chat say this, and I completely agree. And I'll ask you this, Potts. What is the plan B? What is the plan B for this season? And it's not me jumping on anybody's bandwagon, because I think our clubs have both been completely sold a lie this season. We got Mount, who's absolutely done nothing for us. You've got Havertz that has done absolutely nothing for you. So I want to know, sort of, obviously Nketiah scored the hat trick. Everyone said that's it now. This boy's gonna shine. But what is the backup plan for Arsenal?
Bruv, we've never had a plan B under Mikel Arteta. We've never, ever had a plan B. And every single time it's been... And do you know what? In fact, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, maybe Errol might disagree. I don't think they have many plan Bs either. They make plan A better. But Mikel Arteta can't make plan A better. So what we do now is we fling on the same subs that were coming on last season. That team that we put out against West Ham is a shambles. And most of those are going to have to try and contribute to Arsenal winning the league. Not going to happen. Havertz, Fabi Vieira, Reece Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, who's now injured again, by the way, for weeks. Yeah? Him and Partey, where are their futures lying? I probably would have taken 45 million from Villa now, if I'm honest, and let him have him. Because I tell you, Villa ain't going to be putting that money in again for him. That's for sure, because he ain't been fit for 18 months.
We wanted him in January, Potts. We wanted him in January.
If you want to pay 45 million for someone who ain't fit all the time, then
Potts,
fair play to you.
The thing is, mate, like, you know, take this from someone who got spanked from Newcastle last week. Newcastle, I said this on Pete Show last week, Newcastle have players missing, but what it seems to be with Newcastle, the players that come in understand the assignment and leave nothing on the pitch. And it just seems both of our clubs here.
Yeah, there's a drop-off.
Exactly that. And I think that's the biggest concern. It's been a concern for me for how long now? You know, I've said this week in, week out. To watch the players come in, know what they need to do in that position for Newcastle, and then you watch players do the same for Arsenal, do the same for United. It's levels, isn't it, mate? It's absolute levels.
And this is what makes me sick about the fan base, you know, like the West Ham game. Let's go on to that quickly, right? Because for me, that was...
Oh, you want to go on it? Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
This guy's a fraud, you know. How's he sitting here without no shades, no hoodie, no nothing, chest sticking out?
Because he's only played once. He's only played once this week, Errol. He's only played once.
I told you all. And I said it. If we win that game, if we beat Arsenal, I don't care what happens on the weekend, Monday. I am talking about that. And we're getting to it, because I'm not trying to hear Potts can sit there and say, oh, the team, and to a sense I agree, but when people want to talk about, oh, the B team, you beat the B team, what Billy wanted to try and throw out, yeah, looking at the team that went out against Arsenal, right? Ramsdale was in goal over Raya. Ramsdale was your first choice goalkeeper in your title race last season. Now all of a sudden he's B team, he's not good enough, right? That's what we're hearing. Then what? Ben White, big player last season. He played in the league against Newcastle, right? But he's B team, apparently. Gabriel, one of the best centre backs in the league, also played both games. He's B team now, right? Then we had Zinchenko, who was a big signing last season and was highly rated, big part of your title challenge last season. B team, apparently.
Now you're stuck, but keep going. You're stuck
right,
after that.
Let's talk about it, because then we're going to go on to Nketiah, who has been playing in the league. He played against Newcastle, right? No, but he's been playing in the league. So we're going to sit here.
Nketiah is not a quality striker, bro.
But he's not B team, is he? Because he's starting for you in the league.
You're clutching now. Right? You're clutching now. We're the midfield of Jorginho, Havertz, and Vieira.
Kai Havertz, £65 million. No one's trying to hear it.
He's crap.
No, right. He is crap, but I'm sorry, that's not an excuse. That's your fault. You spent 65 million.
No, it's my fault.
Right?
It's come out of your pocket, Dan Potts. It's come out of your
Fabio
pocket.
Vieira. Apparently, Fabio Vieira has come good. No, I'm not hearing that.
Calling out how crap these players are. What's your point, bro?
No, I'm not hearing about that, because apparently Fabio Vieira has come good this season. Even you've been giving him praise. So
contribution from the bench. He's made 2 contributions from the bench. That's not coming good this season. Right? He's starting to improve from what he had last season, which was cack.
You all rave on Reece Nelson. Trossard. Let's talk about Trossard. You all love off Trossard.
Listen,
Trossard should start.
Trossard, I'll give you that. He don't play in the first team, but he's a good player, right? I'll give you the ones you mentioned. White, Ramsdale, he's not playing at the moment, but he's still a good goalkeeper.
Okay, but let's talk about your bench as well, Potts.
Then you're strong. Yeah, but these guys are coming on at 3-0 down. This is the problem with our setup.
Whoa.
Now Odegaard's injured, by the way. He brought him on 3-0 down. Now he's injured, by the way. What a clown.
Yeah, I know. What a clown. But okay, Declan Rice, come on, you was 2-0 down, Potts. You was 2-0 down. Rice comes on. A little while later, you concede, right?
Oh, here we go. This is the problem with you. Oh, it's Rice's fault that we conceded the third goal.
I never said it was his fault.
You did. I heard you say it on your reaction thing. Oh, it's 2-0 and Rice. Come on, now it's 3-0. It must be his fault. Absolute shambles. Absolute shambles. Couldn't wait to get on it.
There's plenty of time. Tomiyasu came on same time as Rice. You love Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu, he's brilliant, right? He's one of your starters. Came on 57 minutes in. Plenty of time. So Tomiyasu Rice come on 57 minutes. Saka comes on 66 minutes, and so does Martinelli.
We lost the game, bruv. We'd lost the game. Arteta messed this up. He threw it away. He put it in the bin.
Okay, I'm saying maybe
West Ham was shocking in the first half. You got to even admit that, right?
We were.
Second half, you turned up and your energy came, and we decided to give up. We were 2-0 down, with like that, literally, right? Kudus was on fire and has been, to be fair. Even at the weekend, I think he scored one of the. Oh, who's that? Oh, he scored one of the best goals I've seen in a while, right? West Ham have scored. I thought that was unreal from Kudus. You deserve to win. I've told that on the fan cam. I went mental at the manager. This manager is so arrogant that he thinks he can throw this competition away, a competition that we haven't won for 31 years now, by the way, right? We are not a team anymore that goes and wins trophies every year. So why do we put out a team like that, and then when we go 2-0 down, going, don't matter, on to the next one. Weekend's more important anyway. Go and win that then. Oh, we lose that as well. What was the point of resting Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Tomiyasu, all these guys? One, you're going to bring them on anyway with half hour to go. And two, you're not actually going to win the game at the weekend. And oh, by God, our captain's now injured because you decided to bring him on to score a goal to lose 3-1. Embarrassing from the manager. And I've told him, I called him out, and I get, oh, you're negative. You just won't like him. You just want him out. No, I'm calling the manager out because it's his damn fault that we've lost both these games. I don't care what anyone says. Our style of play is crap. We've picked an awful team. There's no understanding of tactics. The subs have been ridiculous. Beyond that is beyond ridiculous. Saka's coming on at 3-0 down against West Ham. What the hell? One, what's he going to do? And two, why is he still playing? The kid needs a rest. He's been poor for about 4 weeks because of that. It's just, he's got this all wrong, Mikel, man.
But Potts, so nice. Right? And I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but let me just say this, right? And I'm going to put this up under protest, this super chat, because it's a super chat, but I put this up under process. So there you go. You get your little super chat.
Nice one, James. Nice one, James.
Big up, James.
Thank you, James.
Let me make this point, right? Because again, the excuses when people go, when I was doing my review, oh, you beat our B team, you beat our B team. Obviously, I've gone down the list of the players, but you consider yourselves as a fan base, I don't know if you do, Potts, as the second best team in the league, right? To Man City. We're the second best team in the league. We're title challengers. If you're trying to say that you're near Man City's level, you're telling me you can't rotate and beat a team that has one win in 7 games. You're telling me that you got smashed.
We can't, mate, because we didn't do enough in the summer. This is why I said it's the 6.5 transfer window. 6.5 out of 10 transfer window, I said. This is why
Lawless,
did I tip us to win the league? Did I tip us to win the league? No. And I tell you what,
you can't
I think our first 11 is the second best in the league. I think it's better than Liverpool's just, right? Because I feel like we've got a centre, actually got a holding midfielder. Well, and Errol's going to disagree.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Errol's going to disagree, but tell me then who
Errol got out of jail free yesterday.
1 to 11 of Arsenal, Liverpool is very, very close, man. It's
no,
not
bro. Right, for the sake of your argument with this clown, let's run it. The best team.
Oh, Pete's not a clown. That's not nice.
Hey, don't throw it my way. Don't throw it my way.
Whether you think Liverpool, Arsenal was second, they're very, very close for me, right? Yes. So we're in a situation where we should be able to rotate. You're absolutely right, Lawless, but we can't. And do you know why we can't? Because our recruitment has not been good enough in certain positions, and our drop-off is unbelievable. The drop-off between Saka and Nelson is huge. The drop-off between Jesus and Nketiah is ridiculous. The drop-off between Partey and Jorginho is ridiculous. The drop-off between Rice and Havertz is crazy. The drop-off between some of our centre-halves, like Saliba to Kiwior, for example, is ridiculous. We have not got any players in positions apart from maybe left wing and maybe right back. That's it. Everything else is a drop-off. Yeah, and you can talk about the goalkeeping situation. We have got drop-offs in every single position. That is huge. And we haven't got enough to compete with Man City. But we don't have to compete with Man City here. We just have to beat West Ham. And we can't do that. So if a team cannot beat West Ham, how are we supposed to be going for a league title? This is why I've said we will not win the league. This is why I've said we didn't have a 9 out of 10 window by buying Rice. We had a 6.5 out of 10. And we're still hearing the same fans telling me the bench is fixed and that we had a 9 out of 10 window go, wait till we get Tony in January. I thought we had a 9 out of 10 window. I thought the bench was fixed. I didn't think we needed anybody else.
I looked at your bench on Saturday and I looked at our bench and I was thinking, neither of us have got great options coming off the bench. I've got to be honest. Honestly, I looked at it and I thought, flipping out, like we're stretched, but you guys are just as bad as us because nobody coming off the bench filled me with any dread that you were going to change the game. And this kind of goes into a couple of points that I was going to make is that, Lawless, you talked about Newcastle sort of playing a defensive style. We didn't. We changed our tactic up because we had to. We had to play a way of playing because of the players that we had available. And that is where, for me, Eddie Howe is better than Mikel Arteta because he's got a plan B. And for me, he's got a plan C. And he plays different styles based on who he's got available. And I think he outwitted Mikel Arteta, not for the first time either. He's done it before. He did it to you guys back at the Emirates last season.
Look at Lawless's face.
And I personally think, right, he got outwitted. And to be fair, I've got an issue with Mikel Arteta because I've lost a lot of respect for him. I think he's an absolute clown. Yeah. But I think he was outwitted.
He weren't looking to play or something like that, didn't he? He had a bit of a dig at Newcastle.
I think he was. I'm talking about the game. He was outwitted. What we did is we blocked off your main threat, which is the wings. You've already talked about it, Potts. Saka and Martinelli were not in the game at all. Saka to a point in the first half, but as soon as Tino Livramento came on, who I thought was outstanding yet again.
And then Trippier went left back and then stopped Martinelli as well, to be fair. Saka as well. Listen, I'll tell you why I agree with you, Pete. I'll tell you quickly why I agree with you, because I haven't got long, right? I'll tell you, I wanted to get this in. The reason I agree with that statement, Eddie Howe better than Mikel Arteta, right? A lot of Arsenal fans will hate me for this, but let me make it quite clear. You've got to Champions League football in your phase 1. We got to Champions League football in phase 4. Not only that, we have spent 700 million to get Champions League football in this season. Newcastle, although they have 700 million, and to be fair, probably got much more than that, have not spent that much money to get into the Champions League. Eddie Howe has actually nullified Arsenal and Mikel Arteta's Arsenal on more than one occasion now. So I don't feel that is a crazy statement. A lot of people will hate me saying that. Oh, Mikel's an absolute genius. In games, Mikel's deserved a lot of credit. In games, he's deserved a lot of criticism. And unfortunately, and I said this on AFTV, on my fan cam, it's everybody else's fault. The Cronkies haven't given us enough money. Edu and the board have not highlighted the right transfer strategy. The players went across the white line and didn't give it their all. The fan base are too negative and it brings toxicity into it. I'm sick and tired of every single time we drop points, it's not that guy's fault. And unfortunately for me, he has to hold a massive L in the last 2 games. And it's why we're out the cup and it's why we've lost to Newcastle, in my opinion. You can talk about VAR as being a reason as to why it complemented that. If you want, that's fine, all day long. But we did not deserve to beat Newcastle. The team at the moment is not playing well because of that manager's style that he's changed. I don't know what it is, but I hope he rips it up and starts again because it ain't worked.
Bro,
you have to
play without his strongest team. Arteta cannot be the manager that you guys want him to be without his strongest team. When you get a couple of players missing, Odegaard for me was a big miss for you. He was a big miss because he played in the pockets that lost us the game back in May.
Pete, no more pockets than Newcastle. This guy's going to run off and get a sliver of get a cooking about him. Do you think I sit here all season listening to shit from Arsenal fans? You think I'm not going to milk this? Do you think?
I'm saying to you,
listen, I don't care about his pocket.
We outplayed Arsenal. We outstrengthened. We matched them. I'm telling you, everything you want, take it, enjoy it.
But tell me how we outplayed them. Do you know what? Tell me how Kudos embarrassed them. Kudos just embarrassed their team.
Yeah,
and the thing is,
what I will say is why didn't Arsenal go out and get Kudos for a hell of a lot cheaper?
Facts. I wanted him. I told you I wanted him.
Getting Havertz. You could argue that West Ham did the better deal. They did the better recruitment there.
He mugged off Gabriel entirely.
Not European. Pete, did you not realise that Arsenal are not European champions? They haven't got that pull to bring in.
They're European bums, mate.
They haven't got that pull. Well, Pot, you need to be careful though, because I said it to you from, I don't even know, back end of last season. Arteta was going to start building a rod for his own back in terms of where he got used to last year and trying to emulate that again this season. You say, at some point the blame's got to lie with him, and I get it. But it's one thing for you and a handful of fans to say it. As soon as that becomes the general consensus from the Arsenal fan base, as though he has to start taking a lot more responsibility for either the underperformance or the poor results, he will be living on borrowed time. And I think you need to get to a certain point in the season where you can kind of take stock. It's almost that January period, maybe after AFCON, where you can take stock. You can look at the running. You can look at your tie from the Champions League, and you can look at maybe the 4th, 5th round of the FA Cup and say, right, what should we really now give him as the priorities to work towards? Because
Errol, have you listened to our fan base, bro? They love this guy.
I know.
They love this guy. This guy is not getting sacked by this fan base. Let me tell you now, there will be a very, very minority. There will be about 25% of us, me included, that will look at that scenario, like you've just said, and go, where are we going here? But there will be the other section of the fan base that go, come on, man, this is a process. Give it another couple of years. This guy's unbelievable.
He's the reason why you are where you are.
Yes.
Potts, a lot's been said about United this season, profiting last season, finishing third because it was a poor Premier League. Do you think Arsenal did the same? Do you think they profited from a bad league last season and that's why they were able to compete like they did?
I think there's a degree of that, Dan. I do. I think the other teams around us were poor, but I'm not taking anything away from how Arsenal were last season. I'm not having this, they didn't really deserve to be where they were. Should have won the league last year, bottled it. I'll take that. But Arsenal were insanely good up until the World Cup at Christmas. Nobody can sit there and say to me,
what the hell was
He's celebrating that win big
time. The balloons again. Why does it do that?
Is that me? I don't know why it does it, man.
Those balloons keep coming up, man. It was doing it on Loaded Mag the other day with me.
His birthday was the other day, Pete. His birthday was the other day, mate. Come on.
Mate, that's the birthday love, Pete. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. But there's an element of that. But for me, look, Lawless, you cook me about West Ham as much as you want.
No, I just want to say, because I know you got a cab coming. It's just I think that was a significant game because it weren't just the Carabao Cup. Our fan bases have been going at each other a lot over the summer. That was the first ever Declan derby. We won it. Doesn't matter. You can beat us next time. No, listen.
Is that what you fans are calling it now?
No,
I coined that.
Lawless, you are that death row inmate who has just been given an hour extra, right? To only find out that you're not getting the chair, you're getting lethal injection. That is where West Ham are. In this
no, but
listen to this football club. They're calling now this game a Declan derby.
I coined it. No, because
Declan derby.
I coined that phrase because listen. I said this. There was a lot more heat going into this game between a lot more of an edge between the two fan bases. I was at the game. I certainly felt
on your
side,
not on our side.
Oh, shut up! I heard your fans. I've never heard your fans so loud at the London Stadium. Well, until we scored the goal, then you were quiet as usual.
Hey, listen, I weren't there, but your fans are the reason that it was so heated, in my opinion.
No, listen, your fans have been insufferable, absolutely insufferable, right? All the little
your fan base haven't.
Not like listen, your fan base are insufferable in the best of times. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to hear you lot. If you beat us in the next fixture, go, yeah, look, we bet you sit there. No matter, we won the first one, the most significant one. It's the first one. So it doesn't matter.
So what?
The first time our clubs met each other.
I tell you this now, there's no Arsenal fan going into that game going, we better win this Declan derby. I tell you that. We're going to go into that.
I'm telling you what, if you beat us, your fans would have been unbearable. Because you know what? Your fans, and I tell you this as a West Ham fan, all my videos, streams, anytime we lose, Arsenal fans are there. I was doing the watch along for the Brentford game. Guess what I had in my chat? Arsenal fans talking shit, So don't sit there and say this is some one-sided. You lot are just chill. I've had it all season. Arsenal fans in my mentions, right? And if you would have won that game,
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I wonder.
Look
No,
at
because
these
you're
comments,
still-
Why
man.
would they
mean?
come for you? I mean, why would they come for poor Dan Lawless? Why would
because
they do
I call
that?
you out on your shit. I call you all
Oh,
out.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe
It's
it's
in it.
because we're
You're
all
over
living in
Declan
your
Rice.
brain.
That's what it is. Because we didn't anoint you guys as a team that were on the level of Man City, and we didn't look at you in that way, which is bearing fruit, by the way. It's showing that we were right. You couldn't handle it, and you've been on our case. You've been insufferable. So all I'm saying is,
You're gonna win it. You're gonna win the cup.
if we win the next game, right? If we beat Liverpool,
You ain't
we
beating
win it.
Liverpool at Anfield, bro. Sorry.
Well, maybe
Sorry to
Liverpool,
disappoint
maybe
you, but you
Liverpool
ain't.
have the approach that Arsenal have. Maybe they play their B team, but maybe Liverpool are a proper top side.
We'll play a weakened squad, but we'll still handle you at Anfield.
So you're more of a serious outfit than Arsenal. Like you can rotate.
I said they were.
and
That's
not
what
be
actually I
weaker,
use them
yeah?
as an example.
So you're
as
not
being
the
what we
second
should
best team in the league, are you, Potts? Far from it.
First
I mean,
11, I said. First 11. First
Well, it's
11.
a squad game.
Not
It's
squad.
a squad game. Potts.
Exactly. If
We'll
it's squad, we ain't the best. We ain't the second best. Liverpool.
We can debate
Liverpool are
it.
probably.
When we play you in December, we can debate it. We can have a little show, and we'll see who comes out second. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Errol, who's put the fixtures in the group chat. Lads, make sure you save the date for this.
I've got 3 home games on the bounce. I've got West Ham, Arsenal, the top row. I've got all 3 of yous. I'm coming home, baby.
Look at this guy. Listen, Potts. So you're not winning the league this season, Potts. You're going to win a trophy. Are you going to win a trophy, Potts? Talk to me.
No, I don't think we are going to win a trophy, bro, because he doesn't take the FA Cup seriously either. So we're going to play that West Ham side. Unless we win the Champions League by some fluke, then that is all we got. We ain't winning the league. I don't think unless he plays the FA Cup, takes the FA Cup seriously. That's the only thing I think we've got a chance of winning. I don't think we're better than Man City or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich here over 2 legs against Champions League. I don't think we're good enough to beat Man City to the league. We're out of one of the trophies. So now it's all on the FA Cup again, which, to be fair, is our trophy. But if he doesn't take it seriously, I'll tell you this now, if he doesn't take this seriously, I'm going to call for his head.
So. I can't, and we will be there, Potts. We will be there.
Yeah,
Look.
I'm sure you will. I've got to go anyway.
All right,
So
well, listen,
I'm going to love you and leave you. But let me just say this. Let me just say this. Pete and Dan, this don't apply to Pete and Dan, but Billy and Errol, you're going to have to hold the L with this guy now. But just remember that West Ham and Brentford played this weekend. That's all I'll say.
Listen,
see you soon.
See you later. Have a good night. Look, before we get on to
big up the chat. Just make sure you smash a like. Big up Lawless for hosting. See you boys later.
Later. Before we get on to Liverpool, right, and their fiasco, I'm a fair guy. I'm fair. Look, if anyone wants to get on to me, we lost to Brentford. We were winning 2-1. Listen, I'm
week,
still
Lawless. It's another loss. It's another week where you.
That's why.
I'm in the league now.
Is the pressure on now? Because you talked about it last week, and you were kind of outlaying your easier run of fixtures. Now, you've gone back-to-back defeats against teams that you were expecting to pick maximum points off, and you've got that big fat 0.
Can we have an 11-week review, please?
Pressure. All I'm saying is there now pressure on? Because obviously it wasn't long ago that Sam put it on there.
Yeah,
we're contenders, and now you may be contenders alongside Palace and Wolves and whoever.
Chelsea.
Also, Lawless, another question, mate. Another question: is the missus out tonight? That's why you've not got the sunglasses on.
No, she's in. She's over there doing her hair. So
the question is, Lawless, are you watching the Chelsea game closely tonight? Are you hoping for Chelsea?
I will say this, right? I will say, yes, the pressure is on massively. It's an absolute disgrace, this run of form. But listen, we want to talk about it. You could say that was our B team against Brentford because we didn't have Paqueta and Alvarez. Apparently, that's how it works, right? You miss a couple of top players and it's a B team all of a sudden. We miss Zuma as well. Zuma, Paqueta, and Alvarez.
What's his name back in as well? Antonio back in, didn't you?
Yeah, oh my God, Antonio. Antonio, man. I've bigged this guy up over the years so much. It is one thing as a striker if you are not scoring goals, but to take a goal off another player is diabolical. We go 3-1 up there. I mean, I don't bank a lot on our defense because it's been a shambles, but there's a good chance we could go on to win that. It's a big moment. You go in there sliding in, knowing you have to stretch out. It's a tap in for Ben Rama, and then you just sky it. It's just moments like that.
He's a record goal scorer, though. He's a record goal scorer, isn't he?
Yeah,
but to be fair, someone made this point that Bowen will probably overtake that in like 2 seasons if he's still here. So, and Bowen, listen, Potts ain't here no more, but let's Bowen taking Thierry Henry's record and Salah's record of scoring 6 away fixtures in a row, opening the game of the season. I'll just put that out there.
Bowen's got a 15-year contract. He ain't going anywhere, mate.
Yeah, he's true. We have signed him to a big contract. So, but you know, I'll just say this before anyone wants to throw that in. But the biggest thing that really made me angry in that game was the substitution of Danny Ings. Moyes brought on Danny Ings, who had 5 touches in 30 minutes. 5 touches. This guy has scored 0 goals in 12 appearances. He comes on game after game after game and does nothing. But Moyes goes, yeah, okay, let's try it again. Let's keep bringing him on. We got Mubama, who's not signing a deal because he's not getting game time. No one can tell me there isn't a single young player that we've got that could do the same or more, at least, than Danny Ings. I don't know the point of it. Bloody Villa have robbed us blind. I can't remember how much we paid him, but it was too much. He's one of the highest paid players. I just don't understand it. And this is why I can't sit here. Moyes has to take blame. It's disgraceful substitution.
He's definitely gone the end of the season, isn't he? I think he's gone, isn't he? He's gone.
He's done.
Xabi Alonso, isn't it, from what you were saying, mate, isn't it?
Well, let's talk about, I'm telling you what, Billy is going to get cooked later. But listen, all I'm saying, John, I'm going to save that for the Billy portion, the Xabi Alonso. I'm going to save that for the Billy Villa portion. But yeah, okay, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. We've got Forest next, who, from yesterday, tough team. You know what I mean? Apparently.
You're on mute, Pete.
What's the next 3, Lawless?
Oh.
We got Forest.
Well, what's the next 3 games?
We got Forest, Burnley, and Palace. Those are our next 3. 9 points.
How many points?
No excuses. 9 points. Nothing
9
less.
points, no excuses.
No excuses.
Sam?
Every single one of them. W. I'm telling you, right? I'm not taking 7 points, 6 points. I'm taking 9 points or nothing. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and be happy with 7. 9 points because we have lost games that we should have won. It's not good enough. 1 win in 7 games. I've got fans, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not deluded. People think I am because I stick up for my football club, but I see the shit that we're in. I argue with fans like West Ham Central who are deluded that make excuses, going, "Oh well, it's not the manager's fault. Antonio didn't score that goal. It's not the manager's fault that Mavropanos scored an own goal." But you can only say that so many times. You have to look at over the course of the 7 games that we've only won 1 game in, and that was Sheffield United. And you go, well, is the manager, what has he done to Ward Prowse? He's playing him deeper. What are the substitutions he's making? The game management.
So, Lawless, you absolutely rinsed me for saying I'd say United would finish top 4, right? Are you still sticking with 7th place for West Ham United?
Ask me after these next 3 games. I'm not giving up on it yet. I'm not giving up on it yet.
A 14-game review.
We need this now, Lawless. Come on,
You didn't even put United in your top 7, so you think that United are going to finish below West Ham?
Yeah. Listen, all I'm saying is, let me just say this, right? Because if we win our next 3 games, we're back in the mix. We're back in the mix of things, right? That's 9 points. Other teams above us drop points. I mean, we're seeing it. A lot of teams that you think are going to be kicking on are fumbling.
Yeah, I was amazed that Fulham dropped points to us, to be fair.
But it's big. We need a striker in January. There's a lot. It's a long season still. I'm not giving up hope on the top 7 finish, right? That's what I'm going to say. But yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And Moyes and the players, some of the players have to have a hard look at themselves. But kudos Kudus and Bowen, they don't deserve to be on the losing team. Brilliant. 2 players. Kudus' goal. Oh my god, that guy. I love him. He is brilliant.
Is Antonio going in January?
We can't afford to let him go because what we left with, Danny Ings. We can't afford to let him go. As bad as he is,
I think you'll take that Saudi money. I think you'll
He's not have the pull to go and get yourselves an Ivan Toney.
Listen, Ivan Toney. If I'm Ivan Toney, I stay at Brentford. If he fucking leaves Brentford, yeah, he's a disgrace. He owes them at least half a season. But I think like Arsenal are going to be in for him. So you know what I mean. I think he's a disgrace if he does leave. Though you owe Brentford.
And you couldn't go toe to toe for Arsenal over the transfer. Do you not think you've got the pull power?
Well, with Derby, so you know it's anything can happen.
Apparently, they're a money club. They want to talk about Newcastle and Saudi. They want to talk about Man City and Saudi. They're a money club. They just spend money like it's going out of style. So I want to have a look in the mirror, mate.
I agree.
Yeah. So, but you know, West Ham. You know, I'll take that. I'm taking half an L. I'm taking a small W because of we beat Arsenal, so that counts it out. But you know what I want to talk about? Do you know who's on trial next? A certain Errol is on trial because listen, Errol.
I plead the fifth.
I'm coming to you because you know what it is, and this we're doing big talking points. We're not doing deep tactics. What I want to know is how the best strike force, the best front three, as you named them, in the league, failed to score chance after chance after chance after chance. I see them chances. I mean, mate, you defend that. How have the best strike force in the league not burying them chances and drawing to Luton Town? Their team is worth a fraction of yours. They've spent a fraction of the money that you've spent. How is that possible?
We've got humble Errol back.
No, it's not even about being humble. Do you know what it is? It's not good enough because I've said that's been my claim. It'll be the only thing that I will be loud and strong and wrong about or right about whatever this season. We have the best attacking line out of anybody in the league, and I think on our day, and I think the credit to Luton, they did attack us. They gave us the space to run into behind. They gave us the space through the centre, which a lot of teams often don't. They'd rather us be pushed out towards the wings to try and create chances. But Luton gave us what I would feel would be opportunities that on another day Liverpool would feast on. On another set of circumstances, I think Núñez gets at least a brace. He gets himself amongst the goals. I think he is unlucky.
I think he's overthinking it, like people are saying.
Núñez.
Well, you didn't let me finish either of you really before we got to it.
You can't say Núñez unlucky in the same
sense. It triggers people.
Last week as well, Errol. Was it last week as well? That bad miss. It's coming running.
No, do you know what it was? I was the one I said was unlucky was the way it cannoned off the bar. That was unlucky. He takes the shot in the first half, and he gets through, and he absolutely just cannons it. He probably doesn't need to put that much power on it. And it goes off the bar and it goes over. Where and again, this will be, you know, I don't even know. I haven't really done much of the football Twitter rounds, to be honest with you. But my take on the big miss that everyone's talking about, and again, this is just my observation and my opinion. My disappointment lies more with Salah than it does Núñez in that instance, because Salah himself is about 6 yards out from goal. Not the best out of all of our attackers. He's probably the worst header of the ball. Scored a couple, but he's not great. It's probably one of the few areas, and you can probably mark his game down on overall. But he headers that, and I do not care if you ask Mo Salah, pulled him to one side, and asked him honestly, was you trying to square it or was you trying to score? I reckon he tells you he's trying to score, and he gets that header and the connection of it all wrong. Now he gets it all wrong, but then at the same time lays it perfectly into the path of Darwin Núñez. I think Darwin's a little bit 50-50 there. I think he's thinking in the initial, Salah's going for goal. Then when he realises Salah's got a 50p head and it's spun off towards him, he's trying to save Salah's blushes and he gets it all wrong. So the bulk of the blame for me, as in my opinion, goes to Salah, because you're 6 yards out, you're the marquee, you're the talisman. Take that. That's a you
Errol,
could
do
do
you
a job. You could definitely do a job.
with Nunes, I feel like, I mean, as a United fan, I like him, I do, but I feel like as the weeks go on, take last season, we're making excuses for him, and the question's got to be asked: is he the guy that is going to lead that line and score the goals that you need to challenge a Manchester City?
And I think the jury's still out ultimately, Dan, because I think there are things that I absolutely love about Darwin Núñez. I thought his work rate, like if you look at the performance yesterday from a Darwin Núñez and compare him to someone like Haaland, you don't get the chances created himself. You don't get the movement. You don't get the nuisance that is Darwin Núñez from Haaland in terms of the way he performed yesterday. But what you do get is at least 2 goals, because Haaland will find the back of the net for you. So that's the stark difference. One is an absolute lethal killer in front of goal, and one right now is starting to find his feet within this team that he plays in, but the goals will come in dribs and drabs. Every now and again, he might get a little hot flush of goals where, he bags 2 against Newcastle. He gets the goal against West Ham. That's a lovely
Those goals against Newcastle were instinct, weren't they? And that's it.
Instinct.
Like he's not
that's him. He's playing on raw instinct, because I think it was whoever was on the punditry yesterday, was Carragher, wasn't it? I think it was Carragher on the punditry for Sky yesterday, and he's saying, Darwin Núñez, he's got to find it in his locker to find one a little bit more delicate. And I'm thinking, he did delicate against West Ham the other week. That goal, that finish where it comes over the shoulder from Trent, or I don't even think it's from Trent, actually, to be honest with you. I think it might have been Slobber's, but it's come over the shoulder, and he's literally just flicked it into the far corner away from the keeper. And it's like, he has got it. It's about the confidence, and it's about relying more on instinct. He knows where the goal is, so instinctively, he's better off just going for it when he's got too much time to think about. And I think there's still cause to say that, even though when he thinks about one-on-one situations, or he's thinking about like heading down on goal, he's not the best. But I think when he's thinking about his overall play, he's starting to look a lot better. Does he look like a Liverpool player? Does he look like Bobby Firmino? Does he look like a Gakpo, a Jota? Not yet, but he is starting to look like he is a lot more. He's assisted more goals to Mohamed Salah in best part of 12, 16 months than Mane did in his entire Liverpool career with us of nearly 5 years. So you can't tell, Lawless raising an eyebrow. You can't tell me that he's not contributing to this overall style of play and the way this team plays.
Salah and the other boys come into a team that was nowhere near what Liverpool are now.
No, true.
I kind of feel like that's.
Well, at the same time, Mane the first season was carrying Liverpool. Then Salah came, and it was like they had a little trident or a little harmony, and then Firmino was the key and the glue. So they did see the best out of each other. It just wasn't, that service wasn't going one way for whatever reason. I personally think we have to criticise the top players when they underperform, and I think that's why I've banded all 3 of them in yesterday. The one light who I think we can all give a lot of praise to is Luis Diaz.
I hate Liverpool, but the fact he scored, even I was like,
you've just got to I haven't got the words. I'm not a good enough person to articulate anything on that level. But I think Klopp tried to explain it as, we wanted to give him a distraction this week and give him something to just take his mind away from events. Things are being handled in a particular way. Yeah. So it looks like there might be a resolution, but let's just take your mind off it to some extent. And I don't know if that was a masterstroke or if it was just the right thing to do, but he responded unbelievably. And I think I've been very critical of Luis Diaz, and I've got to be careful now, because he's the one out of the front 5 that was under the firing line for me. I always want to say he's my guy that I'm keeping a close eye on. I've kind of got to take my foot off the gas with that, because all right, in this moment he's come on to score a great goal, and it's important. It saved our blushes. By rights, we could have lost yesterday, and we'd have only had ourselves to blame. But then equally at the same time, I still think that's going to impact his season, and we don't know how it's going to impact it yet. So I'm glad. I'll take what I can get from Luis Diaz at the minute, but it's the others that I expect to be chipping in on a consistent basis. And we've been amongst the goals. So to have an off day as a unit,
it's one of them. It's just one of them ones you look at. It's one of those, you can say that, but that's what I'm saying. Offensively, you can look at it and go, it's just one of those days. But defensively, obviously, still issues there. It's a counter attack. It's a good counter attack, but you left yourself very much exposed. I think Alisson could probably do a bit better for that goal. It's a tough one, but I think his approach could probably do better. And just how much you left yourselves exposed to that counter attack, that was quite poor. Do you put that down to personnel, or do you put that down to tactics?
I think that was it was just the moment, to be honest with you, lad. Like, I think everyone at that point was flooding forward because we was trying to obviously see out the game ourselves. 81st minute, we wanted to get the late goal, which we have quite a good record of scoring late goals, and I think we overcommitted ourselves in that moment. And I think Barkley, it's always the way that a certain Barkley, Chong, did a couple of other lads that like, they'll do absolutely anything to have a 10 out of 10 performance against Liverpool, even if they don't get the result as a team, as long as they can go home and say, I absolutely tore it up against Liverpool. And he's just that type of player, isn't he? So he had a good game yesterday, fair play to him. I think the first time he did anything on the ball, Jamie Carragher's like that. Oh, Barkley, Ross Barkley. And I think he just wanted to give him man of the match there and then, if I'm being honest with you. And you just knew how it was going to pan out. I think the young lad, Chong, is it, from... I don't know if he's
he's United. He was awful. United.
Yeah, I thought he took the goal really well. To be honest with you, he didn't seem flustered by what was in front of him at all, and he dealt with it. You've got to give Luton credit because the one thing I've been thinking about our team for a while, for the last couple of games is we're due a game where we huff and puff, but we can't knock the door down. And I thought it was going to be last week's game, where we actually come away from Forest in the end and we get the results. But it was like, it's only going to take one team to execute their game plan perfectly, stay in the game long enough, and then catch us cold on the counter, and that'll be our undoing. And we'd had a poor record against the teams that were newly relegated last year, and we've set off in a similar fashion this year. Obviously, we saved our blushes a little bit, but ultimately, when your offence have an off day, someone else has got to step up, and there was nobody there for Liverpool yesterday. And I think after 10 games, I was quite confident that we'd push City a lot this season. Watching the 11th game, it's coming a good time to just put my reins on and put the brakes on and just say, do you know what? We probably are a fraction off where we would.
Are you listening, Lawless? Are you listening? That is how it's done, mate.
But it's true. We probably are.
That is how it's done.
We probably are just a fraction of where we would need to be to put a sustained challenge on City this season, and that's fine because there's a lot of rebuild going on.
Are you finishing second at least? Are you still going to be second best in the league?
It makes no difference as long as we finish in the Champions League. I'm not really that arsed. Like if we finish second by 1 point, I'd be more gutted than if we just finished third. If we finished third, I'd be like Sam. But if we finish second by a point, I'd be thinking over the course of a season, could we have squeezed a little bit more out of us? I don't think we can, but when you're only off it by a point, you're going to look at games like yesterday and think you probably should have. So I'd rather us finish within the top 5 comfortably, no injuries, get the CDM in January, and go hard for the Europa League, go all in on the Carabao Cup, and try and push for the FA Cup. If we can take home a couple of trophies this year and look as if next season we could be serious with the aging of everything going right, I wouldn't bemoan this season. But yesterday was a bit of a reminder that Liverpool, even if we can get nailed by teams and wave after wave, we'll withstand them. But there'll always be one team that'll get that one chance that can still put us to the sword, and that will be our undoing. And I don't think there'll be a load of those games that we'll discuss this year, but there'll be enough that will actually derail our chances and prospects of winning the league, in my honest opinion.
I was going to say, props to, you touched on it as well, but props to Luton. I watched the game, and I thought they went toe to toe with you at times.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game.
Fair play to them. They had the Luton game. Let me just they had guys who were willing to run into the ground, and that intensity, that press. They might not have that kind of top level quality to kind of kill the game. But I thought fair play to him, and it was it's a superb goal. I have to say
it was. But Pete, look at the contrast. I mean, you can say because it's a derby, but look at the contrast of how a team that was in the bottom 3 in Luton approached their game. And I know they was at home, but the way they approached their game to how Everton approached it, and the actual quality of the game That was an enjoyable game, even for a 0-0 at the neutral. Luton went for it, like Pete said. Luton gave it beans.
They have to, though, don't they? That's the only way they're going to stay up this season is their home form. They've got to make sure they try and turn that place.
Yeah, but they could have easily gone ultra defensive. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's what we said. That you're right. It was like Forest, but they could go defensive and try and do that and grind out results. But they've gone to go for it a little bit. Listen, I know Dan, you got a shoot off. Just Ten Hag cooking now. Man United are back, baby, beating them 90.
Another week. Another Sir Jonathan Evans of Northern Ireland clean sheet. Just what can you say? Look, it's Moments FC again. I've said this about this Manchester United team, haven't I? And that's the only thing that's going to get Manchester United points this season is Moments FC. Simple as that. Was I confident going to Fulham? No, I wasn't after the Carabao Cup disaster show. But at the same time, it's 3 points in the bag that after the last week of the 3-0, not beatings, they were drummings. We take it. We absolutely take it. I still don't understand how we're 6 points off Arsenal, considering how well Arsenal are expected to do and how poor we've been. It gives us that little bit of unreal hope that we could perhaps be in with a in the conversation.
A title charge? Is it a title charge?
No, God, no. For European, mate. For European, definitely not a title charge. But there's a big week coming for United this week because obviously there's potential for a new CEO coming in. Paul Mitchell, it looks like that could potentially be happening. Director of football, which Manchester United have never had a director of football. We've not done that, so that could be a potential positive for us.
Don't sit here and hype your director of footbole when you wanted to
not
say
hyping. I'm saying it's the first time. I'm saying
you're loving it.
I've backed your fucking director of football.
No. Oh, whenever I was going, Tim started.
I've never said that. I like him.
Well, Saturday night after a few viewers.
Saturday night, I didn't know what my name was. Jesus Christ. Saturday night,
I love getting your drunk videos, Your drunk videos can be life.
Honestly, mate, when I go out now, I think I'm just going to leave the group chat and
No, please don't.
The worst thing was Lawless cooking everyone. And that was what was just angering me. And I think he was doing it on purpose. The fact he wouldn't acknowledge the result he had that day. And I was like...
Lawless's self-awareness is just non-existent, is it?
Oh, wait a minute. Why have I got to sit there and go, before I get onto you all, yes, we lost a game of football today. Let me put that aside. No,
because
that's
you just
what you
bring
that.
Your chest is wide out.
For everyone.
Meanwhile, fucking West Ham down there in 11th. Like, you're hardly pulling up any trees yourself. Like, have a little bit of self-awareness.
Whoa, you want to talk? Listen, we're going to get to you, Billy Big Bollocks, over there.
I'm going to head out. But before I do head out, I just want to remind you, Lawless, worst season in our history, and we are still above West Ham.
It's a long season, mate. It's a long season.
And also, next week, I want that 12-week review because we've missed the 10. We've missed 11. I want the 12-week review, okay?
Oh, yeah, we'll see. And listen, maybe well done for spending £1 billion and being above West Ham after week 11. Wow.
Thanks, mate.
What a club.
Mate. Worst season ever, but we'll take it. Guys, massive respect. Lawless, as much as it pains me to say it, great job tonight, mate. Well done. And I'll see you all next week.
Take it easy.
See you next week.
Hold on, Dan. Oh, he's not even talked about someone else that was annoying him on Saturday night. He's not even talked about somebody else. The old Brighton man is not here tonight.
Oh, yeah, he was on it. He's gonna. Well, I suppose when he shows up, he'll get it. But do you know what? Someone who doesn't get it enough on this channel, it's his time. Billy, you've got to take the stand. You've got. Oh, he's back.
What was I heard someone saying? Hold on.
You were going for Lawless, and you had a right to do that. But there's another fan that you had to do with Saturday night who's not here tonight. Why have you not mentioned that?
Yeah, well, because Maz only shows up when his team wins.
Winning, yeah. I've noticed that trend as well.
Everybody who watches this show, and I will say this, everybody who watches this show, United are in the mud. Yes, I know that. But I'm here every week. Every week, 7-0 here, 6-3 here, 3-0 here. I'm here every week. So that needs to, and I don't want anybody on this panel, and I don't want anybody in the chat to forget that. He only turns up when we win. So make sure when he's back, he holds that. Simple as that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Right,
Fair enough.
He's right. 7-0. He turned up. He didn't go into hiding like a lot of other Man U fans. Fair play.
Yeah. There you go. Well, I never go missing. I'm here no matter what.
But what Alias was here last week doing up fucking cosplay with hoodies and fucking glasses and shit.
I was still here to take it.
Lawless, do you know what? I was convinced you were wearing the sunglasses because you punched yourself that much in the head through anger at the result. I thought you
wanted to. I wanted to. I'll tell you that much.
I'm really going now. See you later.
All the best, mate. Take it easy.
Safe.
But yeah, Billy has to take the stand, and so do I'm. So annoyed everyone else has left because you was all going to get a grilling because you allow this man to talk crazy. You all sit there and jump on my case. This guy literally said in the group chat that that Emery can win a title with Villa.
Those weren't my words.
You did.
Those weren't my words.
Wait a minute. Let's talk.
Emery wasn't going to leave. I thought that's what he said.
But what I said is because he said he has everything he wants here at Villa, and I said, does he have the opportunity to win the league? He said, he potentially can win.
I didn't say yes. I didn't say yes.
You didn't say no, did you? You didn't say no.
No, I didn't say no. I didn't give an answer. Well,
give me an answer then. Give me an answer now, Billy. Mr. 2-0 to Forest. Mr. We're on a Champions League run.
Mr. 8 points clear of West Ham in 5th.
Well, apparently, listen, future title winners should be, shouldn't they? You've got this amazing manager who would never leave the mighty Villa.
I didn't say that he wouldn't. See, you're twisting my words, Lawless. I didn't say that he would never leave Villa. I said that I'd be very surprised if he was to leave Villa. I didn't say that we would win the league. I said, what I said was that he's got everything that he wants at Villa, and football's a crazy sport. Leicester have won the league. Blackburn have won the league. Who knows?
Wait a minute.
Hang on. He's a manager that got little tiny village in Spain, Villarreal, to a Champions League semi-final. Who's to say with the keys to the castle, with the backing from the ambitious owners that we've got, who's to say that we can't go on and stay there for we are contenders for more than just a couple of seasons?
No one's going to say nothing to this man.
Who's to say that we can't? Who's to say that we can't?
No, do you know what it is though? Yeah, like let's work in the realms of where we're talking probables. Probably it's not going to happen. However, to what Billy's actually stating, or what from my understanding of what Billy's stating is, he believes that within Emery's position at Aston Villa, he's got more resources than he's ever been afforded by any other club, with a club of the size and the stature that can actually disrupt the status quo in a similar way to Newcastle, probably not to the same scale and probably not to the same level of sustainability, but with a similar effect. Now, if he gets the momentum right and certain things go his way, for him, not saying the Conference League is like winning a league title, but if he was to go next season and go deep into the Europa League and go and win the Europa League, that to them would be the equivalent of them winning a title. That'd be massive.
No. But what we're talking about, Errol, right, is reasons why that he would leave. We talked about stepping stone, right? Yeah. And what I said is,
that's what I'm saying. What project comes along that can offer him a more accelerated rate than that? No, because he's already had one of the top four or one of the top 4 teams in England. He's already. Am I right in saying he's been at PSG as well? He's a PSG manager. Yeah. He's already done the top team in France. He's not going to get a Real or a Barca job in Spain because he's not there. You know, he's not flashy enough to have hold down one of those 2 top jobs. He could end up in Atletico Madrid maybe one day, but right now Simeone's locked it off.
We're talking about if he overachieves at Villa. That's the point. Not now.
But even if he did, I don't think him overachieving at Villa isn't going to get the heads of Real Madrid and Barcelona to turn their heads and say he's the man.
So we're saying that he's not good enough to use Villa as a stepping stone. He's
It's not
not good
about him
enough.
not good enough. I just think there's a parity now. I think there's a certain level of parity, whereas he was probably a little bit, he was probably a bit bigger than Villa when he came. But with everything that Villa have been able to achieve and do while he's been there, he's brought them up to where he is. And now they're kind of a good match for each other. Is there other clubs in Europe that he could go to that have probably got a bigger stature than Villa right now? Probably. Would he get the same amount of resources? Would he get the same time? Would he still get all those other things matter to a manager? So he's probably looking, it's fine margins for another club to come and snap me up. What's the point?
But this is the thing. For me to say, and look, let's take the Real Madrid rumors and put them aside, right? Let's put them in, and we're saying if he don't, right? For that West Ham fan who said we should try and get Xabi Alonso, that's like crazy outrageous, right? But it was perfectly normal for Villa to get Emery. It was perfectly normal for Everton to get Carlo Ancelotti, right? And it's also not crazy to think that Emery, if he did do really well with Villa and overachieved, wouldn't leave them for a better job. Like, this is the hypocrisy that I'm not
saying that he wouldn't leave. I'm not saying straight up that Emery's at Villa for the rest of his career. I'm saying that I would still be very surprised if he was to leave because of what we can offer him, because of the resources that we've got, and for everything that Errol's just mentioned. I'd be very surprised if he was to leave.
Most teams have resources, though, Billy. Like, the Premier League is very rich.
Yeah, but they're not giving him the keys to the castle and saying, you bring in your director of football, you bring in who you want, you bring in your staff. Everything at Aston Villa is built around Unai Emery.
There'd be too many purse strings for him to go to another club. Another club would want too many purse strings. He'd have too much control.
Depends on the club.
But that's what I'm saying. But you're playing on fair for hypotheticals. If we're just operating on the probabilities of what's currently in front of us, they're a good match for each other. There's not you name me 2 other clubs right now in a position that could use Emery's services and say they're better poised than Villa to go and achieve.
Errol, I'm not talking right now. I'm not talking right now. I'm not saying that someone would tap him up right now. What I'm talking about is he's there for a couple of seasons. Yeah, say he gets them Champions League, or he wins that Europa League, or he does whatever, right? He overachieves. Now, it's great. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that ain't clubs like Liverpool, right? Like potentially, if he does go and do really well, like Man City, or any other top club in Europe wide, Bayern, or anything that ain't gonna come and tap him up. And you're telling me he says no to those stature clubs because he's got the keys to Villa's castle. Oh, who would want to give up the keys to that castle? That prestigious castle.
All right, so let me break it down to you in this way then. Jurgen Klopp came to Liverpool and has earned the trust of the board, earned the trust of the fans, and earned the trust and the loyalty of his players. The years that he's been at Liverpool, there have been opportunities for Jurgen Klopp, no matter how successful Liverpool have been, for him to go and take up the Germany job. There could have been opportunities with conversations behind closed doors for him to take the Real Madrid job at periods of time. There could have even, and there has been talks before he did come to Liverpool about him taking the Man United job. So there's 3 big, high-profile jobs that he could have taken in the last 10 years, but he's decided for whatever reason, A, Man U, no, I'd rather go to Liverpool, and then B, Madrid and Germany, no. At the minute, what I've got going at Liverpool is as best as I'm going to get, and you could try and turn my head down the road, but right now I'm happy, my family are happy, everything's working the way I want it to work. I've got all the keys to the castle that I need, so I don't need another project. I don't need to be on somebody else's purse strings, and it might be a similar situation. Now, there is the argument, as you're saying, Lawless, that could happen in 2-3 years' time, that Emery does really well, and he does use this as a CV booster, and Juventus turn around and say, we want you, or Inter turn around and say that we want you, or, Atletico say Simeone's gone, now we want you, and he might take that jump. But I'm not that close to Villa to understand his relationship with the club and how he feels embedded with it all. But right now, from the outside looking in, I don't see why he would jump before he's achieved what it looks like he's trying to set out within this crop of players. But it could happen. I'm not saying it couldn't.
And look, if Emery does in 2 or 3 years take us to a Europa League final or winning it, take us to the Champions League.
Would you begrudge him if he dipped? Would you begrudge him if he dipped for a bigger club?
I don't know whether I don't think I'd begrudge him as such, because he's put us on that pedestal of being like somewhere where I didn't see Villa ever being in my lifetime. Think about it. 5 years ago when we was in the Championship, to play in the Champions League all of a sudden, 8 years down the line it would be, is mad. So I don't think I'd begrudge him because of what he's done for Villa, but I would still be very surprised considering everything that he said previously. He loves it at Villa. He's wants to play Champions League football with Villa. He wants to play or win the Champions League with Villa, is what he said. Whether it happened, it's obviously very, very, very unlikely. But these are things that he said and these that he wants to do. If in 2 or 3 years' time it's still going as well as it is now, then why would he turn around and say there's an Atletico Madrid role there? He's 3 or 4 years into this project, if you want to call it, at Villa. He's already said that he wants to win the Champions League with us. Why all of a sudden now he's got us to the Champions League? Why is he going to just say, see you later?
Managers say a lot of things, Billy. They said we've seen it and we've seen it time and time again, right? But this is the thing. So, but you're telling me, right? Then the only way, if he doesn't achieve those things, then you're happy. Like if he say you're going to be 7th, maybe sometimes 6th, not winning anything, floating around those places, maybe drop down. You know what I mean? Then what happens? Do you look elsewhere? Do you feel like you should be in those positions? What are your expectations?
I think as Aston Villa are a club that should be competing for European football every season, in my opinion. And if he's got us competing in Europe every season, maybe taking us far in competitions or winning us trophies, then I'm happy as Larry with that. I'm over the moon that in my lifetime, like I mentioned, considering five years ago that we was playing in the Championship, to now be in and around competing for trophies, competing in Europe season on season, I'll be over the moon with that. So no, I probably won't be going.
Let's just slow down that chat. Let's slow down all this Champions League chat and winning trophies. You just lost to Nottingham Forest, my friend. So you want to sit here and think you can sweep that under the carpet? Nottingham Forest.
I'm not going to sweep it under the carpet.
I was genuinely surprised by that, Billy. I've got to be honest.
I was too. Yeah, it was a poor performance. It was really, really bad. An off day at the office. It is what it is. It's about how we bounce back from this now. We're still in 5th. We're 2 points clear away from Newcastle in 6th. It depends how we bounce back from this. It's not the end of the world. It is what it is. We're not going to win every game. What do you expect from us?
Is it what it is, Billy? Is it what it is?
Well, I want to talk to you, Billy, because there was a question mark back in pre-season when we played against you in America, and then we played against you obviously first game of the season, and it's kind of come about in the last sort of few games as well, particularly yesterday, is that you guys play such a high line, and for teams that have got pace in the back line, and I think Liverpool kind of got the benefit of that at Anfield as well, off the back of that. You play such a high line and there's not massive amounts of pace in your back four. And Forest got so much joy against you. This is with all due respect, Forest, they're not, I'll be honest, they're not a team that I thought would get the better of you as easily as they did. And they were fantastic. They were sensational. They had a great game. And fair play to him. I bet Dave's absolutely loving it right now with his 3 points in the bag. But is that not a worry? Because you can, Emery is continuing to play this style of football, but it doesn't seem like he's got the players to implement it. And it's okay at home. At home, you've got a fantastic record. And I think you win the vast majority of games at home, but away from home could potentially be your downfall. I don't know.
Yeah, it's concerning that our away form is as bad as what it is. Don't get me wrong, but when Emery first came in and said this is the way that we're going to play, it was actually our away form that kind of carried us through at the beginning. So it's about balancing that out. Emery's not going to change the way of playing because it's not been done to perfection against Forest and maybe against Liverpool and maybe a couple of other times. You know, our high line has been so. It's been perfect for a lot of the games that we've played this season. Teams will go on and beat it every now and then. Of course they will. Forest played fantastically and deserved to win yesterday. You know, hands up.
Teams will figure you out. Do you think you're not going to get found out? Teams will start to look and go, okay, this is how we beat Aston Villa. This is the way. And you're going to have to find that plan B and see what Newcastle have.
Possibly. But Emery, being the master tactician that he is, will no doubt try and find a way around that. And should we be found out, maybe we then start doing things slightly differently. I don't think that Emery's going to go and say, right, we're going to stop doing the high line now because we got beat to Nottingham Forest. You know, this is how Aston Villa play now. We play with a high line with very possession-based team, and we play in the spaces and we create chances, and a lot of the time we score goals. Yesterday, all of our attackers were off it. They were very, very poor. We created chances. We couldn't take the chances. Forest took with two long shots, they scored 2 goals. But like I say, everything that we threw at Forest, they dealt with it with ease. You know, they completely deserved the win. Fair play to them. And we move on. Alkmaar on Thursday. It's my first game of the season. I'm going to be there in the whole tent. Can't wait. So yeah, it's about how we react and play.
Just there. one more question from me, and I don't know if Lawless said if you were going to come to this. You might have already talked about it. Martinez.
Oh, the best goalkeeper in the world.
What is guy? To be fair, I said Lawless, but I'm on about this guy. The Liverpool fan right next to me. Like, you guys are to do with the goalkeepers. I'm not being funny, but that was a howler.
It was a howler. It was a howler. There's no two ways about it. But in terms of being the best goalkeeper in the world, etc., he's got the award.
Hold that, Errol. Hold that. Alisson ain't got that award.
Do you know who else had an award last year, though? Like David De Gea had an award last year for being, the keeper of the league. So,
but that's based on clean sheets. That's based on clean sheets. That's more of a team. That's more of a defensive line effort.
So you think it was his exploits for Villa that got him nominated?
It doesn't matter what it was for. He's an Aston Villa player. He was an Aston Villa player during the World Cup. He is an Aston Villa player now. He's got the award for being the best goalkeeper in the world, and he will remain that for at least a year.
Well, he weren't the best goalkeeper in the world the other night. So listen, Billy, you, my friend, are going to have to hold that. We lost to a better side than you. We played quite well for spells of the game. We were winning the game. We didn't give them a clean sheet. So you're going to have to hold it more than me this week. You also didn't beat Arsenal on Wednesday. So hold that.
We're also in 5th, 8 points clear.
That doesn't matter. You still lost. You are the clown of the week. I
was told after game week 1. I was told after game week 1, mind the gap.
Ooh.
Listen, don't worry about gaps.
Mind the gap.
Gaps are there to be closed, Billy. You are crowned, and I'm bringing this in, the clown of the week. Well done, everyone. Congrats, Billy. Best keeper in the world, biggest clown of the week, Billy. There we go. What better way to end it there? Thank you, everyone that watched. Thank you to these gentlemen who stuck it around till the end and the other guys who left. We'll be back. Someone else will be in the hot seat next week. And we'll see you next time. Up the hammers.
Oh, no.
Yes.